In 1998, I became a Nintendo boy and renounced my Sega Genesis. The N64 had just come out, so the SNES was heavily discounted, as were the games that I picked up with it. The games I picked up were F-Zero, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid. I became a Metroid fan ever since then. After that, Metroid Prime and Fusion came out on the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance, respectively, and Fusion, if I'm honest, scared the crap out of me every time that the SAX showed up. And as I played through Metroid Prime 2, I began to notice that Metroid seems to have little hints of horror in the games as you play through them. A sort of dread seemed to settle in as you explored each new area in the games. And with the Wii, we got Metroid Prime 3 Corruption and Metroid Other M, but after that, we wouldn't get a new Metroid game for over a decade, until October 8th, 2021. Now, when Metroid Dread was announced, I think it's a bit of an understatement to say that I was excited about the game. And it's been a little over a year since Metroid Dread has released, and it's still a game that I think about pretty frequently. Not only does the gameplay feel as smooth as playing it with a controller made out of butter. Okay, maybe that's not a very good illustration, but you get the idea. The controls are buttery smooth. We got a version of Samus that we all knew existed. This silent, tough, courageous warrior hunting down aliens and other space monsters. We got a hero who would stare at evil dead in the eye and make them flinch. After I'd played the game to 100% completion, I said that Metroid Dread, both on the podcast and here on the channel, was the best Metroid game we had ever gotten. Now, do I still believe that a year later?
Yes, but actually no.
See, I think the gameplay, the controls are easily the best in the series. It, like I said a second ago, it feels buttery smooth, it plays really well. The shine spark and the wall jumping, all that stuff, it's refined and it's super accessible. It's a little hard to kind of get into at first, which if you're struggling with that, I've got a video on how to shine spark in the game and so you can get 100% completion. But I have to admit that the areas in the game aren't quite as memorable as places like Norfair or Phendrana Drifts. And I think we can all agree that the game oscillates between scary and frustrating whenever you encounter the enemies. But it's the story and the characterization or representation of Samus that really makes the game shine. This is a game where Samus has no restraints, which is a huge contrast to what we saw in Metroid Other M. This is the game where she's not listening to some goofy space captain dude saying, hey, now you can use your rockets. No, once she gets her rockets, it's bada bing, bada boom, cowabunga time. Let's go. And it's this story that was shown in Metroid Dread that gives us this rich lore of the Metroid series. And man, there's some reveals in there that I'm curious to see how that plays out in future Metroid games. And the thing about Metroid Dread is that it's an incredible game on its own merits, but it's also an incredible game as an entry into the Metroid series as a whole. For once, it felt like Nintendo actually cared about a franchise other than Legend of Zelda, Mario, or Splatoon. And I personally can't wait for Metroid Prime 4. But here's to hoping that we don't wait too long for a new Metroid game like we did in our wait for this game. And so this is just a short little video of just kind of reminiscing about Metroid Dread. When that game was announced and as I played it, it was a special time as a gamer and as a Metroid fan. And so I'm curious, have you played Metroid Dread? Do you enjoy the game? Let me know down in the comments below and let's kind of reminisce over our favorite parts of the game. With that being said, if you like this video, why not give the like button a little tickle and hug the subscribe button to get more gaming related content here from the Reformed Gamers. And as always, thank you for liking the video, sharing, and subscribing. And until next time, be a dear, keep it locked here. I'll see you in the next video.